Today, I am speaking with Tapology's #1 ranked lightweight and welterweight in the state of Ohio. He's a very special talent, and 100% you are going to see him compete at the next level of mixed martial arts very soon. You guys are about to find out why I like this guy so much on June 16th at LFA 160. Joining me today is Mr. Josiah Harrell. Josiah, welcome to my show. It's a real honor to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I want to first and foremost hit on your martial journey to this point. You've been in the MMA business for quite a while. You have a long, successful amateur career, and
Yeah.
you've had a long, successful pro career. I know you're still a prospect, but I look at all the things you've accomplished. You've been in this game for a very, very long time. And I'd love to pick your brain a little bit. Like, what have you learned about yourself as a martial
Mhm.
artist and as a human being over the course of this journey so far?
It's insane the amount of skills and things you develop outside of fighting that fighting bring. It's like it allowed me definitely to be more patient because you can't just expect things to happen. Like, yes, you want it to happen, and yes, your ego is going to say this needs to happen now, but patience is one thing that I've learned from fighting, and it's been nice to just sit back and watch things grow. Like, not everything has to happen right now, and most of the time when things do take off, it's like all they do is end up coming back down anyway. So it's like um, it's nice to see where I'm at or where I was at, and then just being patient and not being normal. And I would say normal as in like the Connors of the world, and saying that I deserve this, because I don't think I deserve anything, but I do think that with the work that I do, that no matter what, I will get whatever work I put in return. But patience is definitely one thing that I've really appreciated that fighting's taught me.
One of the things about MMA is it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
You've only like you are like that first generation type of fighter that's like just getting ready to like hit the scene. I know you have a wrestling background and stuff like that, but also like at a very like young age you've been like competing and training in mixed martial arts, and that wasn't necessarily the case in the mid 90s. You'd have a
Mhm.
guy that was like a wrestler or just a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and they would like come into MMA like as a actual specialist, and we don't see that really anymore. We see like
Yeah.
that true freestyle way of fighting. And in your perspective, what's been the most challenging thing about MMA that you've had to learn that maybe didn't come naturally to you at first?
Um, the most challenging thing about MMA is when I first started going from, I've always been pretty athletic. I've always been good at different sports, but coming from a sport that I'm very good at, um, wrestling, and then coming in and trying to learn jujitsu and going, not everything in wrestling works here. Not everything. So it's like breaking my mind and going, okay, what does work? What can I do wrestling wise that will still work? And a lot of it's just um, in these moments will it work. Like, I can do underhooks or different things when it comes to like if I'm on bottom, or I can wrestle up different things, but it's always like in the moment. Like, it's still, everything still works. It's just different moments at certain times it works. Not all the time does it work, but it allows me to use I basically use wrestling whenever I can, and then the spots that I can't use it, I have to fill with whether it's striking or whether it's grappling, clinching. It's those are the things that I had to try to deal with. It was like, okay, I'm so good at wrestling, and then I tried jujitsu. I'm like, ugh, okay, what am I missing? And I'm too competitive to just go and start feeling sorry for myself. So I'm like, no, I need to figure out something. But I'm also like too in my head to not go, okay, what did I do wrong all yesterday? What did I do wrong? Why did I get swept so much? Why did I get tapped so much? So it was the aspect of trying to deal with adversity while also trying to be like egg myself on, like, you can still do this. Like, there's something to it. I just haven't figured it out yet. So it's like finding a little balance in between there.
Generally speaking, particularly about the wrestling discipline, what is it about wrestling that makes it so successful in MMA? When I think about the sport, these are facts. Like the most elite mixed martial artists all have something in common. They're all like adept wrestlers. What is it about that discipline that makes it so important to have? What makes it so vital in MMA?
When I say this. I mean, this is what I feel. So I don't know if this is correct. I don't know if this is incorrect, but I think that people, especially when they grow up in the sport of wrestling, they're not only used to a pace, they're not only used to being face to face with somebody, they're not only used to being surrounded by a lot of people when it comes to a gymnasium, especially if they're doing states or anything. I think that allowing themselves to be in such a close quarters combat, because you're not allowed to back up, you're not allowed to step back, so you're forced to hand fight, and that hand fight could be pretty close to getting hit. So now you're reacting to punches coming at you, you just have to see it a different way. Now you're reacting to opponents wanting to move you, and you get to not only understand your body, which you'll get with jiu-jitsu, but you'll get I think which is more important is your eyes. At wrestling, there's a lot of feints, fakes, they're trying to trick you. Not only that, pace will come at it. So it's like you're learning how to deal with this pressure while trying to focus on a certain task while being tired, while adding this on. So it's just like a cake of just problems that you have to solve. And at the top of the cake, you're still tired. Like, so it's like no matter what, you're still dealing with all this stress, but you're also tired, but you don't allow yourself to have that excuse. So it's like, okay, I'm tired. Cool. What's next? Okay, I need to do this and work my way in. Okay, this guy's really good at hand fighting, so now I need to work my way from the outside and do this. Okay, now this guy's really funky on bottom, so I have to work this. So it's always a giant cake, and it's ends with pace and it ends with focus, and they have to not only be able to work at a certain pace while being focused, but now they have to be able to have that goal in mind. And I think that's the real thing you'll get from wrestling is trying to be focused while under a certain amount of stress. And they can do that whether it's under the lights or whether it's in the practice room.
One of the more interesting things about MMA, and I understand why, is we always think about like what's around the corner. So if I talk like to a young amateur fighter, it's like, oh man, this pro debut, another year or two, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to make that pro debut. I talk to somebody like you and it's like, oh, right around the corner, that UFC, Bellator, or whatever, it's right around the corner. And I feel like, and I understand it, you can't like enjoy the now too often. Like this game's constantly evolving. It's a moving target. I understand that. But I also feel at the same time, it's important to like stop, reflect, and to smell the roses a little bit and to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. And one of the things that I'm fascinated to learn about, particularly in your case, like this is a question I've been saving for you.
Okay.
I feel like in mixed martial arts, you have the luxury when you first started out of anonymity. Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
There really aren't a whole lot of expectations beyond what you and your coaches put on yourself.
Right.
Then all of a sudden that changes. You fight a guy. In your case, you fought a very high level opponent on a very big stage. And now all of a sudden, jokers like me want to talk to you. People are writing stories about you, and people are talking about how you could be knocking on the door for the UFC. And that's all flattering. But at the same time, that adds additional pressure to you. So it's a very interesting dynamic. One day you're completely unknown, and then based off of a particular outcome of a fight going away, all of a sudden you are known. And it only takes one fight for that to happen. What is something that you've learned about the experience that you would share to somebody else that's maybe first starting out in MMA?
Yeah. Anyone that's first starting out, I will say this, it is never ending. There's always going to be something you can look forward to, no matter what. Even when you are getting onto the top, let's say like I do get in UFC. Okay, what's next? I need to get a belt. What's after that? I need to maintain this belt. What's after that? I need to make history. So there's always something that's going to be added on. And I don't think that it's a healthy obsession, but I do think you need to have a balance between being obsessed and just living in the moment. I think it's so important. And when you said like being present almost, it's like it's so important for I think younger and even fighters like me and then people that have families and are a little bit more of a veteran to the sport. You have to look around and just accept and enjoy the small moments you do have, because at the end of the day, we don't know when our life is going to be done. So if you put everything into this and then you're like, oh, I got a hurt side and God forbid you got something wrong with you and now you have nothing and you never got to look at the roses, like how are you going to be really fulfilled in life? And yes, you can say, yep, I tried as hard as I can, and yes, I can do this, but at the end of the day, there's always more you can do. So it's like no matter what, you can't put effort into that equation of me being fulfilled. You're gonna have to look into it on a deeper spectrum and go, okay, It's like I was here for my friends, I was here for my family, I was here for me. It's like at that moment when I wasn't training, I was doing what I can for the people around me, and I was doing what I can for my future. It's like if I can't work towards those goals, if nothing I do now like is doing just because I want to do it. Like if there's not a future, if there's not something that I can look forward to, whether it's income and I can provide for my family, or whether it's connecting and just meeting more people that I can potentially either become business partners with, friends with, or eventually just being able to have some sort of connection with it. If that's not in the sight for me, then there's no real reason to do this other than train, teach people, and do everything else I love with it. But like you shouldn't get into a sport one just expecting money. If that's all you care about, and you're not trying to elevate your game when it comes to just skill set or community or anything in that aspect, if you're only ever thinking about the money and then the next step, you're never able just to look around and see who's around you. Because I think that's the real beauty of everything is the growth, is the journey. Like you'll hear people talk about that the whole time. It's like it's the journey. It's not where you end up, because no matter what, when you end up there, you're always going to look around. Okay, what's next? And there's always another mountain to climb. And let's say 55, I win a belt. What do you think's next? It's either I'm quitting or I'm going up to 70. Mm-hmm. It's like, unless I plan on making history, but I mean, but then again, it's like, okay, how long is that going to last? Like, why would I spend the last 15 years of my life, 10 years of my life getting my head beat in to try to get a problem of history when I can go, that was a good run. I'm happy I did it. I enjoyed it. I made good friends. I made a good community. I did what I could for this. Let's go and see what else I can do. But to get back to your point, I think that people do need to look around. I think people do need to go, I do enjoy this. Now, I'm not saying go out and drink and smoke or whatever. It's like, I don't drink or smoke. It's like, do what you want to do. If fighting or if training every day makes you happy, beautiful. Just like, do it. But if somewhere down the line you don't know why you do this and you don't know, then at the end of the day, you're most likely going to quit anyways. So just do what makes you happy. You don't have to do something because you think someone wants you to, or you don't have to do something because you think people expect it from you. So just do what you want to do. And if you can find a goal, if you can find a future in that, even better. It's like that's honestly, that's like everything coming together. But if you can't, then no worries. You will be able to one day. But I do think people need to look around a little bit more and just enjoy the moment a little bit more.
I completely agree with everything that you just said. I want to shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about CFFC 113. This was an epic fight. I was very, very impressed with you. I was also impressed with your opponent, Tracy Reeder. He is a gifted opponent.
He's good, yeah.
And this was the type of fight that I think that you needed to test yourself and to kind of prove to yourself like how good you really are. And I still don't think we've seen the best out of you, but it's opponents like that that's going to bring the best out of you. He's a very gifted fighter that causes people a lot of problems. I'd love to get your perspectives. What do you recall from that bout against Tracy Reeder at CFFC 113?
He's a good dude. I do think that he is under a lot of pressure. I think his dad trains him, which I hope that they get that figured out, just because eventually, like I don't want him to hate his dad, and I'm not saying that he would, or his coach. I don't know how that thing goes in, but I do know he's very good. He's very talented. He has a lot of skill, especially in the wrestling department, and his ability to learn when it comes to striking and jiu-jitsu as well is through the roof. So I'm sure I'll see him in the future as well. But I think as a person, he's good. I think as a fighter, he's a great fighter. I just think that really the only thing is he just needed to be able to deal with bad positions. He learns how to deal with bad positions. He won the first round. I won the second round. Now we go to war for the third. So it's not one mistake away, but it's learning how to put yourself in bad positions. And I'm sure his coach is already on it, and I don't need to tell anybody how to train. But I think that when you look at that fight and you go, okay, Joey starts slow, Tracy takes him down. Good, Joey's just not really trying to get up. Okay, the moment he does get up, I take a knee. And I'm not saying that he did it on purpose or he did it illegally, but I will say this. Once he hit the knee, he thought the ref stopped the fight. So he was really excited. Adrenaline's going up, all this stuff's going up, and he's super excited. And he goes and looks around and he goes, oh, wait, I'm in trouble. And then now him being a someone who makes sense. He goes, okay, I'm winning the fight. I just did something illegal. He's probably going to quit. And I think that he kind of brought himself down at that moment and goes, okay. And then the moment that I didn't quit, he goes, okay, cool, we can finish the fight. So he's going through these influx of emotions, and he's not worried about controlling himself. He's just allowing him to be in there. But I think if he just would have controlled himself a little bit more, he wouldn't have been as gassed in the second. But no, strong dude, great grappler, very, very good at learning. And I see his striking going up. It's like next time we meet, I'm gonna have to figure out something. It's gonna be fun though.
From your end of it, what was it about your performance in particular that you were satisfied with? When you go back, you look at that tape with your coaches, your teammates. What are some things that you can extract that you identify as good things that you were able to accomplish in a very difficult fight?
I usually look at the negatives, but I will speak about the positives. We got some combinations off, a lot of jabbing. I was moving. I didn't really get my footwork set up, but I will say this: I was too comfortable with me being on my back. So it's like, yes, was I, or no, I wasn't taking a lot of damage, but yes, he was winning the fight. A lot of control time. A lot of this is like if he learns how to control emotions or whatever else was going on, that is a completely different fight when it comes to just, okay, take him down again. Okay, keep him down again. Compared to me, where I'm like, I really want to sub him off my back. I don't know why, but I really want to just to prove something. And then I'm going, okay, that's ego though. So then it's to get to the positive point, it's not allowing my ego to dictate where the fight goes. It goes, okay, if we need to get up, we need to get up. I don't care how good I think I am. I don't care how good I think I can do here. It's a bad position. So suck it up, get to your feet, work till you get to a good position, and then get to there. So it's just me coming to one with my ego and just going, no, you don't have to sub a good wrestler off your back to prove anything. It's like you get in there, get out as safe as possible. You and your opponent get out as safe as possible, and then we get our checks and leave.
Well, it was a very important victory on your fighting resume. What have you been up to in the months since? I know we have a fight coming up here next month, but from October till recently, like when did you get an opportunity with LFA? When did they hit you up? And can you talk a little bit about the fight against Michael Roberts, like how that name came on your radar?
Yeah, we just been looking around. I stay in the gym. I don't really have much of a life when it comes to just things outside of it. I just enjoy the aspect of getting better. I enjoy the complexities of this sport. So I'm like, cool, let me try to work on that craft. And I do enjoy trying to be creative. But getting back to my opponent, it's like those are the type of people that I enjoy like getting in there with. It's like his record is not the best, but I don't think that like we talked about earlier, I don't think that is the representation of the fighter. He's tough. He's good. He's fought guys like Mike Perry. It's like he's there to fight. It's like that is, especially for someone who's trying to make sure that he has everything he needs really for the next level. It's like you want somebody who's going to be there the whole time. It's like he's most likely going to be there the whole time. If I see him slipping in a way, then we'll take him out. But he's going to be there the whole fight for 15 minutes or however long it is. And that is something that is not only exciting for me, but it just proves to me that I'm ready. And not only that, it's like I've never cared about winning. I've never cared about losing. I will say this, I do have an ego, but everybody does. I'm not perfect by any means. I do want to win, but I'm not letting the fear of losing hold me back. So if I see something, I'll jump on it. It's like whether I end up on my back, whether I end up on his neck, whether I end up throwing kicks, or whether I stay in the pocket and throw. It's like if I see something, I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to let the fear of losing or the fear of getting knocked out try to slow me down. That's not on my radar anymore. But I do have every bit of respect for my opponent.
I think very highly of your opponent because there are a lot of people that wouldn't take this fight. He's been on a tear. He's been building up the wins. If you look at his resume and look what he's been able to do, he might be trading wins and losses throughout the early part of his career, but lately he's been putting things together. And he gets an opportunity. He sees your name, a 6-0 guy, and he's taking the fight. So when you found out that he wanted this and you got that contract offer, you must have been pretty excited because I'm sure opponents may not be the most eager to want to test themselves against you. With all due respect to that.
Oh, I there's definitely people out there that want to fight, and this guy just proves it. I think that he's ready to stake his name in the dirt, and he's going to fight as hard as he can, and he's ready to put himself back on the map, which is beautiful. I also know I'm a paranoid bastard, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm prepared in every aspect. I know he's about my height or maybe shorter. So it's like I'll fight however I need to. It's like I'm not afraid to grapple. Some people think he's grappling better than me. He's definitely had more experience than me when it comes to professional. I don't know about his AMI reign or how he did there, but he has a lot of experience, and that's just something that can get passed on. So hopefully, at the end of the day, I can get my hand raised, and we both can maybe go get a drink or something. Even though I don't drink, I will for certain moments.
LFA 160. Obviously, you're gunning for the win, but what is it about this fight that you want to prove to yourself? Like, there's always like an internal checklist, I feel, that every fighter has. Like, I want to be able to show more this. I want to be able to do this. Like, what is it about this fight that gives you an opportunity to prove something to you?
Mm-hmm. Just fully express myself when it comes to the art of fighting. It's like most people will expect it, and you'll look on it from the outside and not know much and go, wow, he hit him hard. Wow, he did this. Wow, he kicked really hard. It's not everything's about strength. Not everything's about muscle. Not everything's about speed. I want to look slick. I want to look creative. Um, I want to look dangerous, and not just in one realm, but in all of them. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just allowing myself to express myself fully. It's like before this fight, I got to leave for Worlds in 3-4 days. So I'm going to be out in Cali for a week, and same thing there. We're going to win Worlds. We're going to come back, keep cutting weight. I mean, it's not going to be fun. Get my weight down, win the fight, and then we'll deal with maybe some contender stuff in August. That would be dope. So it's just getting things prepared. I don't really have like a go-to. Like I said, I killed my ego a long time ago when it comes to understanding that I need him there, but he will also slow me down in certain aspects of my life. So I just got to a point where we'll chat every now and then. Am I being overconfident? Why am I thinking this way? I'll always ask myself. But when it comes to this situation, I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to go back in there, and hopefully we can get to a point to where I am back there every 4 months, every 5 months, just because I do like to stay active, and I haven't got the chance because so many people have turned me down, and that's sad, but it's life. I do think that me getting turned down is a blessing in a way, because I have got to sharpen my skills, and I'm not the type of person that's going to be like, oh, I don't have a fight, let's go and do this. It's like, no, it's like, I'm going to be in the gym. Sorry, I'm going to be in the gym. Sorry, I'm going to be in the gym. So it's nice to it's going to be nice to see how the hard work has paid off.
The hard work, you keep saying that, and it's one of those things where people that, unless they're doing that time with you in the gym day in and day out, us on the outside, we can't really fathom or grasp the thousands of hours that you're putting in to prepare your mind and to prepare your body for these wars. We only see you out there for 15 minutes. We don't see the thousands of hours. We don't see the weight cut. We don't see the daily sacrifices that you're making in order to make these bouts a possibility. With that being said, there are a lot of people that support you. This fight's in Kentucky, which is like a next door neighbor to Ohio. And I am fairly certain there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be traveling over to Kentucky to watch you fight. And knowing that you're going to have a lot of people that are there specifically to watch you, like, you're not going to have the opportunity to talk to all these folks ahead of the fight. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But what do you want them to know, for all your supporters, for everybody who's making the trip from Ohio over to Kentucky to watch you fight? Like, what is it important for you to let them know ahead of this fight?
That I appreciate them for sure. I always, even like, there's times where I spend hours after the fight just trying to connect and talk and just thank everybody for coming out. So I'll spend my time going down there, taking pictures, just enjoying people that came to watch me entertain people. Like, yes, I'm entertaining them, but at the sense, like, I'm nothing without them being like willing to go and pay that ticket. So I'm grateful. I would want them to know that I appreciate them.
Perfect. Well, before I let you go, I'd be remiss to not ask you kind of a cool question. I'm a fan of women's mixed martial arts. I'm really excited about, especially over the past decade or so, more and more women are getting opportunities to like headline or be in a co-main event slot on some of the biggest fight cards that have happened recently. Is there a female fight that's happened over the course of the past few years that kind of sticks out at your brain like, man, that was a dog fight. I really loved that fight. Is there one that sticks out in your mind?
Rose and
Mm-hmm.
Wale.
Mm-hmm.
The first fight, Rose caught her, and then the second fight is a chess match. But just people like I like high level like chess matches almost. I enjoy the brutes of the sport and how people can be like, oh, I don't know if I could take that, and like he just hits like a truck. I do enjoy those. I enjoy all aspects of the sport, but I enjoy seeing how people move and feint and try to get their opponent to go into the wrong position or slip the wrong way or strike or counter at the wrong time. So I would say I do enjoy watching. Um, I I just enjoy that aspect of it when it comes to just watching Rose and Wale.
And one final question: who's your favorite female fighter in the game right now?
Favorite female fighter? I do enjoy Rose. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy Rose. I think she's good. But if I had to pick somebody else, I'd say Nunes. She's ahead of her curve when it comes to skills, and it's hard to find her a fight in any ways. But when it comes to striking, good. When it comes to grappling, good. It's like where do you beat her? It's like good luck. That's pretty much the senses I get from it. So I would say between Rose and Nama Nunes.
I think those are perfectly acceptable answers. I guess for me, um, if I had to answer that question, I think my favorite like female fighter would probably be Cyborg. I've watched her fight for so many years. I know she's at the tail end of her career now, but talk about an insanely gifted fighter that's like been entertaining people and competing at the highest level for a very very long time. And it's one of those things like the Cyborgs, the Amandas, the Roses, the Wayleys. We have to appreciate these fighters when they're around because they're not going to be around forever. And when they leave, like we don't feel the impact of their absence until we have to until we're forced to.
Right.
I feel, and I also feel that's kind of like true about MMA in general. Like I feel like we just get accustomed to seeing all these names that we kind of take their presence for granted. And fighting is such a temporary part of life. It's like you really have to enjoy that, especially as a fan, because they're not going to be around forever. There's only a limited time you can do this.
Right. For any type of actor or anybody that you look up to when it comes to form of entertainment, just any chance that you get to tell them that you appreciate them is going to brighten their day. It's like most of the time they're going to hear, "Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do that for me?" It's like you just being like, "I don't need nothing from you. I appreciate what you do. I'm happy you still do it, or I'm happy that you chose another path at this point in your time." That's like simple stuff like that can just warm people's hearts or make their day. And I would appreciate it if someone was like, "Hey, like I've seen you since you were little, or however it is, whether it's just wrestling or fighting. I've seen you when you first started. Like I just want to let you know I appreciate you. Like that means a lot."
Well, Josiah, I have a gut feeling in another 5 or 6 years we're going to do this again. Hopefully before that, but where you will be in 5 or 6 years, you'll just be hitting your athletic prime at that point, and I really want to see where you'll end up. I have my answer, but I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm not going to tell you,
All right,
but we'll keep it to myself. But I'm expecting you to have
write
that.
it down.
I will. I will. I'll date it. I'll date it. But I do expect in 5 years' time we'll have another conversation. I'll look and if it, I don't think I'll be surprised at where you end up in 5 years. I don't think I'll be surprised. I'll write it down though, and I'll show you in 5 years.
I want to see your face when you see Columbus. I'm like, when it comes to the fighters that are going to be coming here, when it comes to just the city in general, it's like cool. I'm a good fighter. I'm a good person, which is hard to come by. But I plan on taking Columbus up with me. It's like, yeah, I'm not leaving. It's like I'll go out and train with people and I'll do this, but it's the city itself that I want to bring up when it comes to the competition, the fighters, everything going on, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, grappling. So I think the state and the city itself is going to come up with me.
One final question for you, sir, and it's simply this: the people that are working alongside you day in and day out, a lot of these guys don't have they don't get the platform, they don't get the recognition that they deserve to help you get ready. Who are some of the guys that you've been working with that have helped prepare you for this high level fight that we're about to see in a couple weeks?
I've been working a lot with Matt. He's been him and Mark have been awesome. Been working a lot always with the Grove City boys, Michaels, the Dave Freetags, the Tims, Davises. I have so many people in my life. If we were to go down that list of thank yous, we'd be here for an extra hour or more. But I do enjoy the people at Ronin and the Dantes of the world. Just such good people in my life, and I would say it's a reflection of me wanting to be a good person, and this is just the opportunities that I get. But that's a little bit of an ego as well. So it's just I'm grateful, I'm thankful that I do have the people in my life, and hopefully one day I can repay them.
As evidenced by the banner behind you, I know that you have a lot of people that help support you. So if there are anyone that you need to shout out, like sponsors or just general thank yous that you'd like to throw out there before I let you go, let's do it.
Cisco Perkins for that. Uh, he's been one of my sponsors since like my first year, and he's just been sticking by me. So I would say Dope Souls Tattoo on Instagram or Cisco Perkins.
Thank you, Josiah. Appreciate your time.